For these questions, you're going to circle the greatest fraction. So let's look at the directions. It says rewrite the fractions to have common denominators. A common denominator is just when two or more fractions have the same denominator, which is the bottom number. So you're going to rewrite them to have common denominators by finding the easiest common denominator. The easiest common denominator is just a strategy used to find which number could be used for the common denominator. It's found by multiplying the denominators together. And then you're going to circle the greatest fraction. So basically, you're going to be creating equivalent fractions where they both have the same denominator, so you can easily compare them. This is very similar to some other activities that we've already been doing. Here, we've been creating equivalent fractions. But the big difference between that and this is before they gave us which denominator to use. They told us to create equivalent fraction with 48 pieces or with 42 pieces. And we used multiplication to do that. We multiplied 6 times 8 to get 48. And what we did to the bottom, we did to the top. We tried to multiply 48 by something to get 42, but that didn't work. 42 wasn't a multiple of 48. 48 times nothing equals 42. So we had to look at that again. Instead, we needed to look from 6 to 42 because 42 is a multiple of 6. 6 times 7 is 42. So when we think about that, it can help you understand that not all numbers can be used to make equivalent fractions. Only certain numbers can be used, and you have to figure out what that certain number is. So we use this method called the easiest common denominator, and all you do to find that is to multiply the two denominators together and then use that number as your denominator for your equivalent fractions. Let me show you why that works. Here I have the multiples of 12 and 6, and you see that 72 is a multiple of both of them. And that's because 12 times 6 is 72, and 6 times 12 is 72. So if we use 72 as our denominator when we're making our equivalent fractions, it's guaranteed to work. So let's do some examples together. So we're going to start by writing our original fraction, and we're going to recreate an equivalent fraction with the denominator of 72. And let's use multiplication to figure out our numerator. So 12 times 6 is 72. So 3 times 6 is 18. Now we're going to do the same thing for the second fraction. 6 times 12 is 72. So 5 times 12 is 60. So we can see that 60 is greater than 18, so 5/6 is greater than 3/12. So the directions say circle the greatest fraction. So for number 2, we're going to do the same thing. We start with our fraction, and we're going to create an equivalent fraction with a special denominator, and that's going to be 30, because I'm going to multiply the denominators, 10 times 3, and make 30. Now I'm just going to use multiplication to figure out my numerator. So 10 times 3 is 30, and 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so now I'm going to do it with 1/3. So 3 times 10 is 30, and 1 times 10 is 10. So here we have 6/30ths, and here we have 10/30ths. So 10/30ths is greater, so I know 1/3 is greater. All right, we'll do one more together. Here we have 6/8, so we're going to rewrite it with the denominator of 48, because 6 times 8 is 48. So now I'm just going to use multiplication. 8 times 6 is 48, and 6 times 6 is 36. So this is my equivalent fraction. All right, and now I'm going to do the next one. Again, I'm going to make a new denominator of 48 and use multiplication. So 6 times 8 is 48, and 5 times 8 is 40. So here we have 36 48ths, and here we have 40 48ths, so 40 is greater. So I need to circle 5/6. All right, you try some on your own, and if you need help, you can come back and rewatch the video. Good luck!